Okay, simple question for all you Manchester United fans. Welcome to the show. This is Forever United TV, and I'm being dead serious when I say this right now. Will Ruben Amorim last the season if INEOS don't back him in January? I'm just being serious. I'm just saying it as it is. If a manager gets relegated with Manchester United, can he survive? Knowing what INEOS are like, knowing how INEOS are with staff and when they're not performing, will Ruben Amorim actually survive? You can say that that is out there. You can say that's way out there. But this is the reality of the situation I see it as right now. Manchester United, honestly, when you look at the fixtures coming up, when you look at what's to come with the rest of the season, without the Europa League, which is our only saving grace, I don't see how Ruben Amorim survives at Manchester United right now. From what I've been told, which I'm going to talk to you about, from the training ground, what's going on at Manchester United, the results, the table, everything that we've got coming up right now, these players and what INEOS have to do, the only way Ruben Amorim survives at Manchester United is if he is backed in January, and it's as simple as that. I put a tweet out last night. I've put it actually at the bottom of the screen right there for everybody to see in the information bar there, that I would take a PSR points deduction right now. Take points off us going into next season. Honestly, these players will not be able to make these points up if they're still at the football club. And I mean this being serious right now. Just spend what you've got to spend to get the right players in and try. And people who say we cannot salvage this season, just forget it and go through to the summer. The way things are going, the way that this club is being run, the way that these players are reacting to Ruben Amorim, Manchester United may not even be in the Premier League right now. You only have to look at the game. Just a little example here, where I'm coming from and where I'm actually at. We have beaten one team in that top six this season, Manchester City, and we all thought that was fantastic. Reality tells you this is the team that's in worse form than Manchester United, and the only reason we beat them because they're absolutely dross themselves, Manchester City. One win in 18, and we cannot get anywhere near them. Does that not tell you exactly how poor Manchester United are right now, that we can't even laugh at Manchester City's demise? The one win we've had against the top six side has been City. Well, everyone beats City these days. They're absolutely crap. And then you look at the teams at the bottom of the table. Look, just to go into it, like Southampton, Wolves, Ipswich, these teams at the bottom that are scrambling around. There's only really Leicester, who we had with Van Nistelrooy's swan song that we beat comfortably. Everyone was happy. Everyone was looking down. Everyone was looking ahead to Ruben Amorim and thought it was great, playing the same system that these players know. And that is the Ten Hag way. And we got the win because Leicester are absolutely dross. But look at the Wolves game. They were relegation fodder. They outplayed us. They were a miles better team. They wanted it more organised, and they beat us. They're in a relegation fight. Ipswich, it can't buy a win at the moment. Can't buy a win. But they got a point off us in Ruben Amorim's first game. That should have given us the warning sign and told us. Southampton, without an Onana penalty save in that first half, we would have been beat off them as well, probably, the way that game was going. Look at all of the games that we've played. When have United actually been convincing? We haven't put 2 wins in a row together all season. The way things are going, the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because under Ruben Amorim and what he has said, and Ruben Amorim has come out and said this several times, he is not going to change his way. He's not going to change his style. They're going to have to stay with it, otherwise he is going to lose himself. That's the words that came out of our coach. They're the Ruben Amorim comments that should ring in every single Manchester United fan's ears right now. Unless Manchester United get rid of these players, and I'm talking 5 or 6 of them out in January, we are going to be fighting relegation. There are players out there that will work better for Ruben Amorim, and INEOS need to make a cutthroat, brutal, honest decision and back him in January, or you could actually see Manchester United out of the Premier League. And you can say that this is ludicrous. You can say it's bad. Look, literally, you should have proven what I'm saying right now. I am a man that tried to back. I'm a supporter that tried to back these players. I tried to give them every opportunity. And everyone has been taking the piss out of me, laughing at me for saying they were top 4. I've seen these players before get top 4. I've seen him with Ten Hag 2 seasons ago. Most of that squad and the ones that were slagging off that we won out of the football club finished in the top 3. Proof is there. Them players should have done it. But something has happened at Manchester United that happened while Ten Hag was in situ, which has sent these players completely off on a tangent and doing whatever they want and free reign to act, behave, play, put as much effort in as they want without any repercussions. And this is where we're at right now as a team and as a squad. Ruben Amorim has come in and said, we will be still here talking like this in mid-table if we don't change the system now. They have brought a manager in who wants to play a certain system and completely rip the scrapbook up from Manchester United and change everything. And if they don't back him in January, then they are idiots. Absolute idiots. And under your ownership, INEOS, Manchester United would be we are going to finish our worst ever Premier League season under your first season in charge. It has been calamitous. It has been a disaster. There is only one way to salvage it. Get your hand in your pocket, take the punishment that's coming, spend the money that's needed to get Manchester United moving through this season and not be relegated, because that's where we are. Anyone in this league can beat Manchester United. Manchester United can't beat anyone else. That's been proven throughout the season. One-off victories here and there. They're just like halfway through the season and United haven't put back-to-back Premier League wins together should tell you that that is relegation. Halfway through the season, if we don't beat Newcastle, 22 points. Even if we didn't get any worse, but it looks like we are going to get worse in the second half of the season, you're barely scraping 40 points, which everybody knows is just about clearing relegation. If Ruben Amorim gets relegated, he will surely be sacked by INEOS if you're going off what they have done so far with all of their staff. And they are going to look like a complete embarrassment. You can forget about your new stadium. You can forget about any outside investment. No one wants to know about Manchester United unless they're in the Premier League. The sponsors will go. United will fall off a cliff. And yeah, we'll come straight back up probably because we are too good for the Championship, well, you would hope. But what damage would that have done? And honestly, right now, if I was a Manchester United player right now, I wouldn't want to walk out my door. I would not want to walk the streets in Manchester. I would tell my family to not go out anywhere because you will be looked at in absolute disgrace, because that's how bad this fan base feels. That's where we're at right now with this team. You could say that's maybe my opinion alone and I'm being a bit over the top with that. Yeah, fine, fair enough. But you tell me that you are not worried about what's happening with this team right now. You try and tell me that you can see a way forward with this squad. Unless INEOS back Ten Hag, Jesus Christ, honestly, that's how much it sent me over the top. Unless they back Ruben Amorim in January, and I'm talking, they need to get rid of the players that they want to get rid of. They need to get rid of them. Honestly, there's too much to do in January, I understand that, but when it comes to players coming in, you either make a cutthroat decision where you are selling the players that you want out of the football club at cheaper prices to gather a little bit of money, and bringing in maybe a small core of academy players just into the matchday squad. And this sounds a bit crazy coming from me because I've said all along, don't bring them in. Don't bring them into this. But I'm looking at this now as like, because they need to come in. Rather than coming in with these players who are an absolute disgusting disgrace and can't even call themselves Man United players for what they're being paid and how much they've been lauded up. Like, I don't want the academy players playing with them. I'm thinking about getting rid of them and replacing them with players in the January transfer window and then academy players to cover them. You're gonna have to be all out brutal mode here. You're gonna have to be all out get rid mode because the season is not salvageable at this point with these players. You look from top to bottom through this team. Bruno Fernandes was an absolute disgrace yesterday as a captain. And I've seen all of the people tweeting online, and I cannot argue with it. Everyone knows I've defended Bruno all the way through every single bit of adversity. I think he does get a bad rap with a lot of the fan base, but you cannot be sent off 3 times in one season as a captain. You cannot play as bad as you are. Ruben Amorim shown what he thought of Bruno Fernandes in that game yesterday when he blanked him walking off the pitch. He's disgusted in his team right now. These are professional footballers. And when you talk about a system being brought into Manchester United, when you talk about a system coming in and these players needing time to adjust to it, and you know what I say to that? I say, shut your mouth. Shut up talking complete and utter nonsense garbage. They are professional players that need to get a grip with themselves. If they cannot fix themselves, if they cannot get to grips with a new system, then you are clearly never going to be a Manchester United player. Happy Christmas to you too, James. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate that, mate. Hope you're all doing well and had a good Christmas. I'm sorry it's so negative and downbeat on the United side of things, but we can only talk about what's actually happening in front of us, and what is happening in front of us right now is a complete capitulation of everything that's gone on before, what we knew and what we thought Manchester United was all about. It's hard to sleep at night when you're thinking about Manchester United and what you've just witnessed on the pitch. And yesterday, honestly, I said to myself before the game yesterday, no expectations. I don't care what happens today. Look, we're just going to have to get through this. It'll come. I'm not going to get wound up. I'm not going to get angry. And they still managed to top that. They still managed to send me over the top because they've gone down to another level. Another level. It's embarrassing right now as to what is happening. How do you go from beating Manchester City, well, I just said because they're crap, away from home, to having a home game against Bournemouth and an away game against Wolves? Let's break this down. Bournemouth, Wolves, back-to-back games, 5 goals conceded, none scored, no points, embarrassment, absolute embarrassment. That alone tells you where this team is at. And right now, I don't think I'm being over the top when I say this is full-on relegation fodder football for Manchester United. No one's going to convince me that we're not in a relegation fight right now. We keep playing like that. And the only reason I'm saying this now, and it wasn't before, I actually thought, you know what? We cannot get any worse. We cannot be any worse than what we was against Nottingham Forest, against Spurs, against Bournemouth. Surely not. Come on, Red, stop it now. No. We go to a whole new level of absolute ineptitude and shit football. Honestly, gutless. Gutless. When you're a United player and you are playing that bad and you are that scared of making a mistake, honestly, in any other business, in any other walk of life, these players would have been gone 4 or 5 years ago. They'd have been sacked on the spot. And this is where INEOS are at right now. They need to act on this. They need to sell these players. Look, Marcus Rashford, gone. Just see you later. Garnacho, see you later. If you're really not up for the fight, mate, then I'm sorry. If you're still sulking about being dropped out of a Manchester United side, and you know what? Like when I've backed Garnacho all of the way. I've got right behind him. I said he needs time. He's a 20-year-old lad. But if them stories that came out about him still being hurt by being dropped by Ruben Amorim, as soon as a player starts getting that into his head, it tells you exactly where we're at and what the problem is. You're at Man United. You're in the bottom half of the table and you've been dropped. Surely that would click. You not think? Surely that would actually sink into a player's head and he would start thinking, yeah, maybe I do need to actually start to up my game a little bit. I am definitely not playing to the right standards. Like there's no clearer sign that it's not working for you or you're not good enough when that happens to you. And for him to be still apparently, and it is apparently, and I don't know, but I'll tell you what was told to me yesterday, actually, as well about training. But if someone like Garnacho is still moaning and still unhappy about being dropped from a Manchester United side that's in the second half, bottom half of the table, then you can go. Sling your hook, honestly. If they're your standards and that's what you're thinking and that's how you're walking around Manchester United with it's an acceptance, or it should be an acceptance within the club that you are going to play games. Like the arrogance of some of these players, he's off the scale. That alone for me said, look, all right, see you later, sling your hook. If you're not willing to fight for it and you're not happy about being on the bench, you don't belong at Manchester United. And if the opportunity comes, and I've said this before, I've tried to be fair and I tried to break it down, but the more games I watch and the more I see these players on a pitch, the more I dislike them, the more I actually hate them right now for what we're hearing and then watching what's happening on the pitch, because it actually fits together. You can actually see the stories and the issues off the pitch on the pitch now. You can see the attitude. You can see the mentality. And that's the big problem. That's the massive problem for Manchester United. We were saying the other day about Garnacho, and we was talking about him actually being up for sale and possibly going. What was it we said? If 60 million came in January and someone actually wanted Garnacho, and it was a general debate and a proper debate, like, would you let him go? You could see potential in a 20-year-old coming through, and he could get better under Ruben Amorim. Well, honestly, it's that phrase and that line from Roy Keane, like a leopard never changes his spots. and the fact that we've got Garnacho now, who was kicked off because he's been dropped out of the squad once, just doesn't look like he wants to be there because of that. Is that always going to be there? If that is the case, then you have to sell him now. You have to sell him now because his value is just going to plummet and we're not going to make any money for him. If 50 million came in for Garnacho this next month, sell him now. Get him gone and replace him. Simple as. Rashford, honestly, he's not even worth talking about anymore. He's gone. You could easily get, 90 million probably for Garnacho and Rashford. Just get them gone. This is where we're at right now. It's embarrassing as a business for Manchester United that two of the brightest young prospects to come out of the academy, when they did are going for such small change. It's unheard of for Manchester United. This never would have happened before. Forget all of that. You literally at needs must. Off the back of what I've just said in the opening to this video, is that if United don't do what's necessary in January, we are going to be running close to relegation. They clearly do not want to work for Ruben Amorim. And what I was told yesterday, I said to my guy, and the only reason I'm bringing this up, he has been absolutely spot on with absolutely everything that's happened. And I'm not going to say who it is, but he said it. And what I said to him, what did I say? I think it was, if he's not sacking a lot of them, I'd be amazed. Honestly, want all of them gone now. That was my reaction straight after the game yesterday. And his response to this was, "It's a total shit show. I should have known. I was told that they trained like shit yesterday." So that being on Christmas Day, again, these are professional players that are paid millions. And yeah, it's Christmas morning. Everyone wants to be with their families, and no one really wants to be working, do they? Training. There's an acceptance that you have to take on when you're a professional footballer, and it's different to everything else. You want this walk of life. You want the fame. You want the glory. You want to play football week in, week out. Well, in the one day of the year and the time of year when it's really busy, when everyone else is having fun and you're not, and you can't be asked training, you can't deal with that, you don't belong. You really don't belong. You don't belong in football. But to go into training, and I'm with this, and I can completely believe that this is the case. They train like shit yesterday. Everything that's come out from the training ground, from sources, from people I've spoken to, have all been bang on the money so far. Absolutely nailed it. So there is clearly a major, major issue within Carrington right now, and these players with Ruben Amorim. They are not liking it. Clearly not liking it. We are getting a response from some players, but it just goes to show how far and how much control these players had in and amongst what was going on with Ten Hag. Probably with managers before, especially when you look at the players that have been there for so long. You can clearly see that these players had a big say in what actually happened and how the club was being run regarding the players, teams, selections and things like this. Because Ruben's come in, he's been given the power to do what he's got to do, and he has come up against an absolute brick wall, a player brick wall. And he's looking back at INEOS right now and he's going, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do with these players? I honestly, when you go to the top, when you look at what Bruno's doing right now, if Bruno's off the rails, and this is one of the most committed players that we've got, and you can't even disagree with that or argue that point. We can argue all point about his quality and his decision-making and what he's doing, and he was absolutely horrendous yesterday. And hasn't been great over the last few games either, but he is fully committed. When you look at that, that to me was just a get me out of here. That was a get me out of here. Literally, he looked like he was trying to get sent off yesterday to me, Bruno Fernandes. When you know what this referee is like, and I'm saying this in that stupid yellow card that he gave to Yoro early doors, you know what he's like. You've got away with a foul already in the game. You've gone down and you've hacked down Cunha in a counter-attack. That to me straight away is like, you know you're going to get a yellow card there when you didn't need to. So Bruno's a smart guy. Bruno, actually, for me, and this is a massive worrying point and a worrying sign for me with Bruno Fernandes, because I will never, ever question his commitment. I will never question his effort. I will never bring that into doubt. Like, everything else, yeah, that's up there for debate. But yesterday, for me, it looked like he bailed out. It did. He looked, and it sounds crazy me saying this, it really does, but why else would you do what you have done? You don't go into tackles in a game that you know are 50-50 when you're on a yellow card with this with this referee in place. And I say that, like, everyone's got to be committed and put tackles in. Everyone has to give their all, and you go into it full-blooded. I get all of that. But what I'm talking about is where he got his yellow cards and on the pitch, and the position on the pitch that he got them, that for me is the biggest concern out of everything. Because there was no one's going anywhere. Dalot put him in the position because Dalot's shit scared and didn't run down the line. That was clear. So he's cut inside, he's lost the ball, and Bruno's tried to win it back. But he didn't need to go and win that ball back the way he did. And when you're risking something like that to me, like, you know what's going to happen. Before you even make the tackle, you know what's going to happen. And we said yesterday, I think even Bruno's stats yesterday, I think he won, I think it was something like 3 of 13 duels. He was battered from pillar to post. You could argue it's frustration and things like that, but this for me is a big sign of where this squad has gone and how he's lost control of them already. The captain has gone. The players that I thought he would be able to rely on in Bruno and Dalot, they look lost completely. They look like they're non-existent. You've got the ones that are spitting the dummies out in Garnacho and Rashford, players like that. We don't know what's happening with Malacia now. Let's not forget Malacia is very good friends with Marcus Rashford. And I'm not conspiracy theory here or anything like that. But how has Malacia gone from never playing football and having the worst time of his career to now being part of this so-called cannot be arsed crew within Manchester United? Manchester United were lacking wing-backs yesterday, which is why Mazraoui and Dalot both stayed on the pitch. Why would Ruben Amorim not put a wing-back or a wing or a wide player on the bench when he's got that many substitutes to pick from? Now Malacia has fallen away, and this will go under the radar, but this is a big point to make, I feel. Because it's Malacia and no one really cares about him, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way at all, but he's not one of the bigger players, is he? Let's be honest. If he now is in there with the likes of Garnacho and Rashford, and he has been dropped out of the squad for training and what Ruben Amorim has seen, he wants to pick a squad of players that are willing to fight for every single ball, that are willing to give everything. And Malacia has been part of every single squad so far, and now he's out. Again, another sign, another problem at Manchester United. And you know what? When you look at that, and I'm not saying that, look, Rashford apparently has been training like shit by all accounts and not putting any effort in. Well, we can clearly see that because he hasn't been anywhere near the matchday squad. When you're dropped for 4 matchday squads in a row, there is a problem. There is a massive problem within. Malacia has been dropped. Garnacho has been dropped now. All fully fit, all able to play, and all in their positions what Manchester United needed in that game yesterday. But they're not willing to put their neck on the line. They're not willing to give more. Like, Garnacho got into the matchday squad, granted, yes. But you can see when he comes on the pitch, he just doesn't look like he's there. He looks a ghost. But Malacia, Rashford now, this is 3 first-team players now that have fallen under Ruben Amorim and his system and what he wants to put in play. So the big thing that I'm trying to get across here, I'm going to come to the comments section now, everybody. Just bear with me a second. And what I'm getting across is, at the top of the show, I said, will Ruben Amorim last at Manchester United if INEOS do not spend in January? That's the point I wanted to make across. And it sounds far out there, but with everything that I've explained, the captain gone. Dalot cannot play in this system. Players that are actually now unavailable because they're not willing to train. Professional footballers on millions every single year not willing to train for Ruben Amorim. Are you telling me that if INEOS don't back him in January and we let this season ride out, will Ruben Amorim actually be there next season? There's not a chance for me, not with INEOS. They will look at someone else. That, look, results are everything. Ruben Amorim knows that results are everything, but he's not going to change his way. And these players, quite clearly, we are 10 games in now. 10 games, that's enough games to say whether or not you have got any players on board with your system. And unfortunately, I can count, what have I got here? We've got Agate, I would say a few of the black players. I say Agate, Mazraoui, Ahmad, De Ligt, Martinez, Maguire, Yoro. I could say probably just over half a dozen players I could name in this squad right now that are on board with what Ruben Amorim wants. You could say Mason Mount, but he's out till March and he doesn't count. So really, when you look at it this way, he hasn't got these players on board. Bruno and Dalot, they're going to play every single game because they're fit, because they are available, and I don't think he's got anyone else to put in their positions. I really don't. And they're not good enough. They're clearly not good enough to play this system. They cannot understand it. They don't understand it. And that there says everything. When I've only got about 7 players I can pick in a squad, that's not just an 11, a starting 11. That's a full squad. When I can pick out about 7, that's it. We have got a major, major issue at Manchester United. And my point about Ruben Amorim not surviving a season, I mean, seriously, come on. When you look at it, Manchester United, 2 wins in the last 7 in the Premier League. We've lost 5 of the last 7. 6 points out of them games. That's not just mid-table form. That's bottom half of the table form. We belong where we belong. So we belong where we're actually at right now. And that is in a relegation fight. Closer to the relegation zone than we are the top 4. That is really bad. That is really bad. 11 points off top 4 now. That has gone. Well and truly gone. When it was 4 points, we had a chance. But the complete capitulation from this squad and these players has been nothing short of spectacular. Spectacular. Okay. I'm just getting through a few little bits that have come through to me here right now, actually. Bruno Fernandes has already Bruno Fernandes had already showered and was the first on the bus to leave Molineux. He'll be desperate to make up for his red card, but he's picked up 3 this season. That from Stephen Railsford. Player's not even going to the bench. I know he's not allowed on the bench because he got a red card and everything like that. Again, it just goes down to that sort of like player dejection. They just look completely lost, don't they? There are rumours surrounding the likes of Victor Lindelof and Christian Eriksen ahead of the mid-season window as their contracts are running out at the end of the season. However, there will also now be more attention on the future of Antony after Fabrizio Romano received a surprising update from the Brazilian's agents. The Italian journalist spoke to Junior Pedroso, who has previously denied any exit rumours for his client, Antony. But this time revealed that the player is open to leaving Old Trafford. Yeah, honestly, I've got to give credit to Antony in a way that, you know what, when he's been asked, he's come on, he's give everything. We know he's not good enough, but you know what I mean? He's actually training hard. He's doing what is necessary. He's doing the basics, which a lot of these players are just not doing. And that, I think, deserves a little bit of praise right now amongst everything that is just going wrong at Manchester United. And that's all we've got. That's it. That's the level of optimism right now at Manchester United. I'm praising Antony for wanting to leave Manchester United. He's give everything he is. He's give everything he can. He's not good enough. But going about it, just get me out of here. Get me out of this football club. Well done, Antony. Well done for actually understanding the situation, unlike some players at Manchester United who think they can just kick off and get whatever they want. I did just do a poll, which has now finished. Next 3 games for Manchester United. How many wins? Them games are Newcastle, Liverpool and Arsenal. 0 wins, 1 win, 3 wins or 2 wins. In that order, because 0 wins has got 71% of the vote, 1 win 17%, 3 wins 6%, 2 wins 4%. Just under 1,000 votes on that one, and everybody is going down the same road. No one is confident. Relegation settings. Right, I'm going to go scroll up and then stop the chat right there, and bang, let's go right into it. Please give the video a like, everybody. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well. In the live chat right now, there is a link to Football Talks, my other channel, brand new channel, which I am kickstarting at 9 a.m. straight after this show today, talking all over Premier League incidents and what is happening. We've got a big one on Pep Guardiola in that one as well. So I have a lot to say, and we are moving across to another channel as well. So we've got 2 running, everybody. The content is going up into the new year, and we're kickstarting that this morning, actually. So if you want to listen to some other news as well and get involved, then please do join us for that. The link is in the live chat now. You will be redirected from this show straight after as well. Let's just get into these comments. We've got one super chat I've not read out yet, which has come from Gear, which says, Amorim have to get a reaction and beat Newcastle, but he won't, mate. He won't. That's the thing. We know he won't. That Newcastle game now, by the way, we've got Manuel Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes both suspended for that game. So that's where we're at with that right now. We have another poll running right now. which is about the football talks. Will you join me over on football talks? Get a simple yes or no in there. Good to see plenty of you are saying you're going to come across to that. Thank you. Okay, let's get into this. Anthony's actually running. Most of the squad is dead. Yep, I agree with that one. Morgan says you can't question Anthony's commitment, but you can question his ability. We always have. I think that's fair. But straightforward, like praising Anthony for actually putting an effort in, I think is embarrassing. But do you know what? I want to give him his due. He came on yesterday. He did more than anyone else pretty much in that forward line when he came on. Again, as he has done before, he's played his part. He's had enough. Get me out of this football club. Like, even he doesn't want to cling on to his 200 grand a week wages. He wants to play football. So I have to give him credit for that. Adam, will you say happy birthday to my grandson Clayton, who is 5 today? Clayton, happy birthday. I hope you have a fantastic day. Don't worry about the football, mate. Just concentrate on having fun today on your birthday, but have a great one, mates. Hopefully you're going somewhere nice and doing something decent. In the second half, we played better with 10 players than 11. Yeah, you know what, Yorkshire? I agree on that one. We need to replace around 6 players over the next 2 transfer windows with quality replacements. We need to promote a few academy players. Pap says the senior players are the biggest problem. The worry is that we won't get them out fast enough before they corrupt the youngsters. This is my always concern. This has always been my concern with the Manchester United academy players coming through. I don't want academy players mixing with these first-team players. It is just going to go south for them quickly. They need a clean slate. We need to clear the decks, and this is what I was saying. Sell and buy in January. Do it now, or you are done, Ruben. And that's down to INEOS. Like, he can only do what he can, but clearly what he is doing, he cannot take these players any further. Right now, honestly, if Ruben Amorim had arrived at Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and he got off to the start that he's got at Manchester United, he probably would have been sacked. This is how desperate Manchester United are right now. Like, INEOS have acted. The biggest mistake that they made was keeping Ten Hag in the summer and not giving Ruben Amorim the time to work with this club. They should have gone all out and got Ruben Amorim. The demands that they made, and they could have got him in the summer. They said, he said he didn't want to move to a club in the summer. They could have got him in the summer because they got him midway through a season, which is even worse. So everything they did to convince Ruben Amorim after sacking Ten Hag, they could have easily done in the summer transfer window. And keeping Ten Hag has just set this team back, set this club back, light years. It really has, because you wanted to change everything that Manchester United was. You wanted to change the system. You wanted to change everything that was going on. And you've done it in the middle of a season. If you don't back your manager on that, then expect what is coming, which is a relegation battle, second half of the season. It's diabolical. We've lost more games than we have won. We're a minus goal difference. We haven't won 2 games in a row all season. This is relegation form. 2 wins in 7 in the Premier League. And that was against City and Leicester. You could argue 2 of the worst teams form-wise at the moment, who are competing with United in that form table, actually. If United need to be relegated to be rid of the player power dressing room culture and get sold, so be it. Changing another manager is just treating the symptoms again. The root cause is still there. There's a question for you. What do INEOS do if United get relegated? It stops everything. Their plan, their whole, and the legacy that Sir Jim Radcliffe wants to leave is gone in the first season. Literally gone. Because if United get relegated, sounds crazy, doesn't it? Just saying them words. It can't happen, can it? Surely, it can't happen. I've said it can't happen, but it's there, it's the reality. What do INEOS do if United get relegated? They can't up season ticket prices. They can't make more money. They're going to hurtle into a ton of debt. That's going to be unsustainable. They will have to break financial fair play rules and reinvest money into Manchester United. The only way out of this for Manchester United is to break the rules. That's if they get relegated. Because these players, they will literally have to sell every single player in the squad, near enough, and start bringing through some academy players. Imagine spending over 200 million in the summer and then getting relegated in the first season that you're in football control of the football club. It is the biggest, most single sporting embarrassment in the history of any sport if United get relegated after what INEOS have done. It will. It really will. That's how big it is. It's absolutely massive. They cannot. And I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens. It's all right us saying it as fans. Like, yeah, look, what do you want us to do? We go every week. We support the players that are there on the pitch every single week. It's nothing to do with us. What will INEOS do with Manchester United? Well, for one, not in Europe at all next season. Plan goes out the window. But worst case scenario, Manchester United are relegated. That's the end of INEOS. There's nothing that they can do. Omar Barada, best in class. Best in class, Vivels in Wilcox, everything that's going on at Manchester United, everything that they've built, this new structure, the investment of nearly just under 300 million from Sir Jim Ratcliffe already, a complete and utter waste. We cannot win at home. We've got players that don't want to listen to a new manager. We've got players that are being dropped because they don't want to train. We're 8 points away from the relegation zone, with 2 nightmare fixtures coming up in the league, and then probably going to go out to Arsenal in the FA Cup. And then you look at the games after that, like Europa League is all Manchester United have got. That is it. It's crazy to think it. It's crazy to say it. But let's be honest. I'm going to come into the chat again now. Be real right now in the chat, actually, everyone. Just come in now and just hit me with everything. I'm just going to go through this all now. Let's just see now. Answer this. Who actually scores goals for us? You would hope Rasmus Højlund, but the stats that he came up yesterday with, honestly, he had, I think, what was it? We had 11 passes. 6 of them were from defenders. That tells you everything, and they're long balls. He's not getting anything from his teammates at all. There's nothing. There's no cohesion whatsoever. Can you imagine Liverpool win the league and United get relegated, said Malps. God, what's the opposite to if Carlsberg's did Premier League seasons? What can we say the opposite is to that? Oh, God. That is... Oh, can you imagine that? Can you just picture that moment? Because that's the... If it carries on the way it's going, that's what will happen. I think that's... When we talk about this, let's just look at it this way. And it sounds crazy to say it. And all we are doing... excuse me, all we are doing right now is fighting this argument. We're fighting against ourselves in saying that United can be relegated because it's United. That's it. It's Man United, no chance that United will get relegated. That's the counter argument to what's actually happening in reality on the pitch. That's it. And what are Man United? What have we been over the last 10 years? A teams and squads of overpaid prima donnas, overpaid mercenaries that just want to come in and get a payday. The way that the club has run and the culture around the club the last decade. What is Manchester United right now? What, history? Sir Alex Ferguson? Because Sir Alex Ferguson won the title in 2013, we can't get relegated. Oh, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Let's look at the real side of things. Let's look at everything that's actually going on. Bournemouth, Brentford, Fulham, Brighton. These are the teams that you used to laugh at as a United fan. They come to Old Trafford, play us off the park. They are better than us. Let me say that again. Them teams are better than Manchester United. That's what you have to look at. They are better than United now. Let that sink in. And then tell me that you're not getting worried about relegation. That's where we're at. Because we are going to lose to Liverpool. We are going to lose to Newcastle at Old Trafford. I can't see it. I will be absolutely blown away if we get anything from the Newcastle game. And that's even a draw. A draw is a absolutely brilliant result at home to Newcastle for United. And let me just tell you that will be the 3rd game in a row at Old Trafford where we haven't won. Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams, the fortress that it used to be. Gone. Can't win. Players are scared to play there right now. Again, it just keeps mounting up. Block says, I reckon INEOS looking for a parachute payment. Block, your super chats have been comical recently, mate. Thanks for cheering me up a little bit with them. But, oh, God, it is hard to watch. Joshua King with another super chat. Thank you, Joshua. Ball directly in from a corner, but the system. No. The ball directly in from the corners twice is just another problem. It's just another problem with this team. Like Harry Maguire's interview after the game yesterday, I think it must have been, it was an MUTV one. You can clearly see it was an MUTV one. Oh my God. Anyway, he's talking about there. Yeah, you can clearly see it. And he was rolling off. They know, obviously, they're playing the game. He was rolling off the teams. Yeah, it happened against Arsenal, happened against Forest, happened against Spurs. Happened against Bournemouth, happened again today. It's killing the momentum. What fucking momentum are you talking about, Harry? Because nothing was happening in the game. It was absolute dross. We were down to 10 men. We were never going to win that game with 10 men against Wolves. He's saying that these are changing the momentum of the games. And yeah, goals change games. Fine lines. But Ruben Amorim has actually said and kept on saying, look, we need to be able to handle going behind. We need to be able to handle it mentally. And we're not. No, we're not. No, we're definitely not. We are capitulating. We really are. Just to go through little bits of news as well. This came out yesterday, and Ruben Amorim has made a point. So going back to the top of the show and saying that Ruben Amorim needs backing, he needs support from INEOS. They need to spend money in January. Otherwise, he's probably going to get sacked. That's how INEOS work. That's how they look at it. If they're going off what they do, and now they treat everybody else at Manchester United, then Ruben Amorim will be sacked. Unless they back him in January. Because there's no way he can salvage this season with this squad of players. Definitely not. They've proved it. I don't care what anyone says. If you're a professional footballer and you can't adapt to a different system, forget it. So Ruben Amorim... Federico Di Marco is Ruben Amorim's first choice for the left-back position, and he is putting pressure on Manchester United to sign him in January, who are looking to sign a wing-back in the winter transfer window. That's done the rounds with a few. So, Di Marco is apparently Ruben Amorim's top pick for left wing-back right now, and he is pushing hard. I'm trying to balance the video out right now and trying to bring a little bit of happiness in to it, but it's just not enough. It's not enough. Honestly, like, we're looking to loan out a few of the young academy players, which I think is right, and in a normal situation would be right. But I made a comment yesterday about the Newcastle game coming up. Like, seriously, in that Newcastle game, I would just play I will play a string of academy players and just say, go out there and get some experience, lads. Practice match. You got a better chance of getting a result out of them with that attitude going into that game than you have these Manchester United players, these first team players right now. That's how bad they are. That's how bad they are. And they are an absolute embarrassment to the team, right? To the club right now. Super chat in from David. Thank you, David. We are not good for the Championship. If we can be poor enough, relegatable, and can struggle to beat Coventry that season, don't put it past these players to struggle in the Championship. Yeah. Well, that would be something, wouldn't it? But yeah, it's a fair point, actually. When you look back at how we struggled against Newport last season in the FA Cup, Coventry, who should have beaten us, but for that offside decision as well. Really, really embarrassing. I mean, we struggled to beat bleeding League One Wigan in the FA Cup last season. That was only 2-0. I don't know where we go, honestly. Brett says, 3 years ago, Forest, Fulham and Bournemouth came up from the Championship. None get relegated and are all into 8th. Right, okay. Meanwhile, as in United, teams are doing their homework. I don't have time for Maguire. He's crap money over career player. I'm getting to a few more of your chats right now. Sell experienced players and drop the worst of the rest and promote the best of the academy players, says Harry. Jimmy says, is there a rule that you can no longer have someone on the back post to defend the corners? That was a joke, that goal. Onana was an absolute joke. Like, honestly, don't even get me started on Andre Onana. I'm sick of saying his name. Absolutely dreadful goalkeeper. So Jim says, imagine that squad of dross trying to get out the Championship. Yeah, I think half of them would have bailed by then anyway, because it would be too embarrassing, wouldn't it? It would be too embarrassing for these players to be playing in the Championship. They would make their agents get moves instantly. to try and get them out of there. So, yeah, no, that won't happen either. And you know what? I'm going back to the training ground situation at Manchester United. This is why I'm more convinced that unless things happen in January, we are doomed. We are doomed. Thank you, everyone, for all the likes as well. Just noticed that we're creeping up to 400 live likes. 1,600 people in the room watching with us. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Make sure you like the video. Please do subscribe to Forever United TV. There is a link for Football Talks, our other channel, of which I'm going to be going across live to straight after this show as well. So please subscribe to that channel as well. More of me, more football talk. It's coming thick and fast. But right now, dealing with Manchester United, looking at what's in front of us right now. And someone tell me, actually, is your opportunity. Get into the chat now. I'm going to bring them up. Give me a positive. Give me a positive. I'm looking for positives right now. Anything else? But obviously we know about Ahmad, so don't bring Ahmad into it. Give me anything that has come out of this Ruben Amorim era so far that's positive. And I'm not blaming Ruben Amorim on that either, by the way. I want him to stay. I want him to be here for at least another 2 years. I want him to see his contract out. I don't care. I'm happy that he's doing what he's doing, but my biggest concern is that we completely fall off because the players have given up. Stu says Mazraoui. Agree, Mazraoui. 100%. Again, I felt sorry for him yesterday, Mazraoui, actually. Let's just see what else we got. You can never blame the manager with these useless, small-minded, money-crazed, non-footballing players. Jeffrey says, please, God, do not let Amorim beat Frank O'Farrell Mark II. The Dark Muppet rises. Erik ten Hag was given some of those players, Casemiro instead of De Jong. Don't even try and back Erik ten Hag on this one. He wanted Casemiro. As soon as he knew he was available, he went for him. And I'm not saying that Casemiro, thank you, I'm not saying Casemiro was a bad player. I think he's done well for United at times. But again, the recruitment tells you that we did it at the wrong time. We got a player that just wasn't the right signing for Manchester United because they had no imagination. They had no recruitment. They had no structure to what they were doing. They were just buying players that were clearly out there and available. It was embarrassing, in fact. It really was. Our keeper wasn't a priority. We had the most clean sheets with David De Gea. Yeah, that does go back to that transfer window not last summer, the one before. Disaster for United. The fact he's sticking to his stance and no show players like living the dream. I'm not sure what that one means there, Pete. Maybe like the players are just not showing up at all because Ruben's sticking to his guns and they don't want to play. Positive, get rid of Rashford, says Brian. Season will be over soon is another positive, says Baz. All the crap players being exposed. That is a positive. That is a positive. I like that one. That's a great response, that, Gehan. Positive is Amorim, says Michael. All right, yeah, I'm good with that. Ball directly from the corner, but it's the system fault, delusional. Look, it's not just... there's nothing wrong with Ruben Amorim's system. What's wrong with it is that... And what will be wrong with it will come from INEOS if they don't back him in January. Don't give him the power to do what he knows and why you brought him in. And the reason you brought him in is because he's got this style of play and he has this way of doing things. So if they don't back him in January and we do end up possibly even getting relegated this season, it's all on INEOS. You kept Ten Hag. You brought Ruben Amorim in. You made this happen. This is all on you with your decision makers right now. And yes, you've only been through the door 5 minutes and you've got to learn yourselves and find out what these players are all about, and it does need time. I get it. But when you're looking to point the finger at somebody, just what's going on right now, you have to look at INEOS and their decision making because they're the ones that have got the power. Not the players, not the coach, not the structure, not anyone who works at the football club. The ownership model is what is most important. They're the ones calling the shots. It's as simple as that. Look, we could go on forever in a day. I will be back later with anything that breaks, so make sure that you're fully tuned in. I'll keep you posted on everything that's coming up live. I am going across now to Football Talks. The link is in the live chat right now. There will be a redirect from this video to it. I would really appreciate you all just coming across there. I am kickstarting a new channel their football talks, where I'm going to be doing more on other Premier League stuff as well. I want all of your input. I want all of your ideas on it. I would love for you all to be there if you could. So please do come and join me over there on Football Talks in a few minutes' time. We kickstart at 9 o'clock, everybody. So hopefully I'll see a few faces there, and we can talk about some normal football. But it is quite brutal as well in that one in terms of what's going on. It's all Manchester-based at the moment, isn't it? Really is. Mods and members, everyone who's helped out in the chat, all of the super chats, everyone who's liked the video, new subscribers, welcome to Forever United TV, everybody. Absolutely love that. I wish it was talking in a more positive vein, but right now this is what our club, Manchester United, is giving us. Unfortunately, it is just pure negativity. Sorry about that, but we can only talk about what's happening, and we suffer together. Everybody, thank you. I'll see you over on Football Talks in just a moment. Love you all. Have a great day. Try not to think about United. Actually, come over to Football Talks and it'll take your mind off it. Promise you.